How we doing?
Good.
Great to see everybody. Great to be back here for training camp. We're excited about the season, excited about our team. Special thanks to the Colts organization for all the work that goes into this thing, setting up training camp. It takes everyone to be at our best, and the operation they put on here, it's second to none. And I haven't been to all the training camps, but I can imagine this is probably the best in the NFL setup. So thankful for that. Just to address, you guys probably saw Raekwon Davis is on NFI. He's got high blood pressure. We're just waiting for that to go down, and then he'll be back out there with the team.
How did you think of Anthony in the red zone today? I guess what steps have you seen so far with him going into year two?
Yeah, I think decision making, quick processing. Being in this system for 2 years now, he looked sharp. We'll go back and look at the tape, but he looked really good today.
What went into starting practice with red zone?
I think it's just the ramp up period. We didn't want long running distances right off the bat. Sometimes hamstrings happen, first couple of days, so we're trying to, limit that. So we started the red zone.
Shane, what was the message team meeting last night to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, just, how we practice is how we make us. That was it. How we practice, how we make us. It's a long season, but we got to do it every day in practice. Training camp, week 1, week 3, week 4, week 6, week 17. We got to practice our tails off, and that's how we're going to get better.
How'd you assess this practice then with that mentality?
I thought we came out, good. It looked sharp, crisp, and a lot of mental errors. Obviously, we got to go back and look at the tape, but excited about the first day.
Shane, how much more comfortable are you now as opposed to 1 year ago when you're stepping out there as a rookie yourself?
Yeah, a lot more comfortable. You're going into year 2, just everything. The operations, coming over here for training camp for the second time. It's great. Knowing the players, you got a full year with the players, knowing their personalities is huge. So coming out here, feel really comfortable with our team. Again, just super excited about what we got going.
Shane, the pace of camp in terms of like your schedule and things like that, it seems very intentional.
Yes.
And I know you guys put a lot of hours into coming up with that. Can you kind of take us through like some of the variables? And
I think there's a couple different philosophies, right, in training camp. Some teams stay out there for the maximum time. You know what I mean? And that's their philosophy. My philosophy is, we don't have the long gated practices. We will in time as training camp goes on. But we want to practice with tempo and we want to practice fast. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you do practice long, guys get tired, but that kind of shows some adversity. They got to fight through those things, which is good. But also we want to maximize our reps and be at our peak point when we're practicing.
And you having been here now in your second year, does learning your team go into that as well, and knowing how they respond to how you practice and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We got great leaders on this team. With anything, obviously you have staff meetings with your coaches, but you also talk to the leaders on your team, and get their feedback, and you go from there.
Shane, in what ways did Anthony benefit from? Obviously, you'd rather have him out in the field getting reps, but in what ways did he benefit from being on the sideline and learning?
Yeah, I mean, there's benefit to that. Obviously, you want him on the field, but the mental part of it, you know what I mean? Just sitting back and seeing it from, a 30-foot view is huge. So he got that aspect of it, but again, more than excited to have him back for the season.
Did Zaire try to tell you that he would have gotten Anthony on that run?
Yeah, it was close. We're going to go back and look at it. I kind of said something, but then he turned away. So we'll go look at the film.
To see Anthony respond and bounce back after a surgery like that, and see him out here in day one.
Yeah.
What does it say about him as a player and just his commitment to this team here?
Yeah, the work ethic he put into it, the whole offseason, going through his rehab, his treatment, being around his teammates, putting in the work in the summer. He had a hell of a summer. Obviously, those guys got together and threw. So they were very intentional about that. And he looks really good right now. So
has your relationship evolved over the last year?
It's been good. I think with anybody, your relationship builds and builds and builds. You get to know each other. But I can't say enough about him and the communication that we've had together. How he learns, how he processes things, and just life too. You know what I mean? Just getting to know the person. Phenomenal person. Again, just extremely grateful that he's on our team.
You haven't had a ton of practices like this with Anthony and Jonathan Taylor together. So just as the play designer, how intrigued are you to have so many practices to build that thing out?
Well, I think it's exciting because the playbook is open to everything. You got a quarterback that can do everything. He can throw from the pocket, he can get out of the pocket, he can run the football, and you got Jonathan Taylor, who's one of the best backs in the league, and to have both those guys in the backfield is going to be critical for our success. People ask this too a lot. It's just like, hey, are you going to limit the run game? And I kind of think like, shoot, are you going to limit Steph Curry from, shooting three-pointers? Well, that's one of Anthony's strengths, right? So we're not going to, get away from that. That's what he does well. So,
what do you need to see from A.D. Mitchell just to make
for
Yeah,
him to have an
just
impact?
just growth. I mean, shoot, rookie. Obviously very talented receiver. Just being around the guys, getting the competition. with the vets, day in and day out, and just continue to see the development. Through training camp and going into the season.
The places where you guys have like obvious position battles, it seemed today like it's pretty clear you guys were rotating, getting guys in. Is that an intentional thing?
Yeah,
to make it
it's
right
got to
from
be
the jump?
intentional. It's got to be intentional. There are going to be some position battles starting spots, and obviously in the backup roles, we got to find that out. And then so like even next week, we're going to add a developmental period into practice, with the young guys to make sure they get more reps. So we can find out about those guys too.
Shane, when you talk about Anthony, limiting him, like you don't want to do that, right? But I also think, tell me if I'm right. I mean, I don't think you're talking about necessarily going out there and running the ball every other play with him,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
correct.
It feels like it's more like the threat of it. Is that more how you look at it? Or what do you
Absolutely.
think?
Yeah, I think so. But again, I mean, if we go into a game plan and we see something that we like and the quarterback run game looks good, I mean, it's going to be up, And I think obviously it's probably going to be up every week, but how much we use it each week will determine, our opponent.
What's that balance of like you said, everything is possible, but also knowing he's going to year 2, it's like still learn, I guess, at this point.
Well, I just think he'll make some plays that people haven't seen. You know what I mean? He did some last year that were incredible, and just to build on that, 22-year-old, going into a second year, the athletic ability that he brings, again, just so excited about it.